Disney Plus is finally here, and it's brought The Mandalorian with it. Also, everyone's talking about how they want to release the Snyder Cut. Plus, we've got trailers for Sonic the Hedgehog and The Invisible Man. Also, reviews for Ford v Ferrari, Dolemite is my name, and Charlie's Angels. All this and a whole lot more on Midnight Double Feature.
Matthew, let's do a show, dude. How you doing? What's happening? What's cracking?
I'm great. I am I'm ecstatic because we got Disney Plus yesterday, and that took up a lot of my afternoon yesterday.
We did get Disney Plus. But tell me, dude, how are you in life? Like, I didn't even ask you off air. Like, oh, what's new with you? Like, what's cracking? What's happening? And I don't care, listeners, like that you're not interested in Matthew's life because I am. Okay.
I'm doing good. I've got this weird growth on my balls again. No, I'm kidding. No, man, I'm good. I've been good. Been hanging out with the missus. I've been sort of getting ready to launch my new film into the festival circuit. I got around to start playing God of War on PS4, and I'm loving it so far.
Lovely.
I just finished Control. I just finished playing Control.
Oh yeah,
which
that just got nominated for Game of the Year.
Which, to be honest, I don't see why. The combat is amazing, but the storytelling, it's so boring, to be honest with you. But like, if you can just skip through that, like the combat in the game is so fun. And the graphics are great too. But yeah, I've been trying to get back into gaming when I can. It's just like, it took me like 3 or 4 months to finish the story mode for that game because I did it so sparingly outside of work, which has been, I won't lie, a bit stressful. And just trying to watch my eating again. I'm trying to, I lost a bit of weight earlier this year. I put some of it back on, and I'm trying to lose it again. How about you, man? You started a new job, a few months back? Something like that?
Yeah, I started a new job a few months back. I mean, lawyer life is rough. It's tough. It's tough keeping a schedule and not missing anything. But it's still, I like the grind. I like the get up and go kind of like thing. Like, I like not being lazy because it also motivates me to go to the gym and things like that, which I've been doing as well. Not necessarily been watching the eating as much as I should be, but definitely keeping active. And on the counter side of that, been doing a lot more gaming. Thank you, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I've sunk a shitload of hours into the multiplayer for that.
I do not see the appeal. I can't relate to it.
I love it so much, and like it's like because my mates from like all of my mates that I talk to, like they're back on it as well because they went into the future shit and all that, and like now it feels like that we're back in year 8. Like we're all just like partying up and like we're kicking ass and taking names and yeah, man, it's just a good time. I've sunk a lot of hours into that multiplayer already, and I can't wait to sink more. I've been wanting to pick up Jedi Fallen Order as well because I heard it's great. I can't
wait to play that. Oh my god, that looks amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean it's already out. I mean you can pick it up, but like it's more like for me, I'm like I'm kind of like a one. Like one at a time gamer. Like multiplayer, like Call of Duty, doesn't really factor in because it's not really a story thing. I've finished the story already, so it's not really a big deal. But if I had like if I was you, I couldn't do God of War and Jedi at the same time. It would need to be one at a time.
100%. I'm the same, man. Like, there's not many of those multiplayer games that really get me. Like, I love fighting games, but I get bored of them. Like, I like getting good at them, but like, I get bored after a few months. The only online multiplayers I ever got in was like COD Black Ops 1 because I like zombie mode. Like, they fucked up zombies so hard, but that was amazing. That was the only
setting.
Yeah, well, I just like the whole. I like the co-op element of it, And then I got into Fortnite for a little bit, and I love the first Star Wars Battlefront. But like, I think I've literally named all the games I've ever loved. Oh, you know what? Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was really good, but no one was ever on those servers. But yeah, a lot of online shit. Like, I just don't give a crap about. Like, I love the story stuff, man. That's what gets me. And Nintendo, anything from Nintendo. Like, I'd love to pick up Luigi's Mansion 3. That looks great.
And people say that, like, single player single player games are like dying off, and I don't think that's true, man. Like, I mean, I still think, like, I have not played Red Dead Online yet. Like, I think that is one of the greatest fucking campaigns I've ever played ever. That second one. And I'm still, like, heavily, like, I love my campaigns. Like, I mean, Jedi Fallen Order is all campaign, so, like, I love that shit.
Yeah, I think Sony's keeping that shit alive, honestly. Like, PS4 seem to have a lot of exclusives that single player.
100%.
Like, just look at Spider-Man we just had. Like,
right, and God of War.
Yeah, oh man, I'm loving it so far.
For sure. But other than that, man, I've just been, watching movies, really haven't been doing much.
Bro, I'm struggling to keep up with you. Like, I'll just spoilers, listeners, but like, I really wanted to see Charlie's Angels, and I really want to see Ford v Ferrari, and I probably will at the very least see Ford v Ferrari soon, hopefully, but I haven't seen them for this, so Zoe's going to review them, and I really struggle. I'm struggling to keep up this motherfucker because he's at the movies like 10 times a week. It is insane, man.
I wouldn't
okay,
say
9.
It's my happy place, man. It's my happy place. I mean, like, and we're in a good season of movies right now. Like, spoilers for probably the next episode of upcoming attractions. We're probably going to be reviewing The Irishman. I've already seen it. Waiting for you to see it because it's going to drop on Netflix soon. Yeah, I'll save my thoughts for that episode. But I mean, like, you can probably, if you're really interested in my thoughts, you can probably reach out to me privately and I'll tell you. But I mean, you'll probably expect like my answer already.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. All right, let's. You know what? Fuck you. I'm not interested in talking about your personal life anymore. Let's get into some shit. Like you said, dude, you already teased it. Disney Plus just launched here in Australia yesterday. Launched in the US last week. What are your thoughts?
I get the hype. I totally get it. Like, so we got it a little bit later than America, so we didn't have obviously I think some of the issues that they had at first, but I'm really loving it. I actually like the interface better than I think, definitely more than Stan, probably more than Netflix too.
I'd say it's almost identical to Netflix, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, but you get that little thing at the top, which is like shortcuts or like the big franchises, which I think is kind of cool. I wish there was an extra one for Fox movies though, because oh man, they put the kiddie shit right front and center. So sometimes you got to look a little bit for some of the good stuff.
Yeah.
But if you go up to like the search by movie film and you go to A to Z, you could be scrolling for years. There is so much shit in there.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is at launch, and they've got so much like exclusive shit coming. It's freaking awesome, dude. And you know what? I didn't realize this straight away, but they have extras. Like, they have special features. Almost every movie on there has special features under extras. I'm talking deleted scenes.
It's like
trailers.
a DVD. It's like a Blu-ray.
Yeah. Dude, this is what I wanted Netflix to have for years. Are you feeling any different? Are you on the same page or?
No, I think we're on the same page on this one, man. I mean, like, especially for like $8 a month, there's really not that much to, complain about. It's you're getting a whole bunch of shit. And honestly, a lot of it is nostalgic, but I think that's kind of like the business that Disney's in recently. I mean, not recently, but for a while, the nostalgia business. It's like we know our audience. We know that it's pretty much children to people in their early to mid 20s who grew up with us and grew up with our content, and now we're going to take them back. We're going to put Gargoyles on there. We're going to put X-Men on there. We're going to put the entire fucking series of Simpsons on there, and we're going to draw these motherfuckers back in. And it's just, there's just so much stuff in there, and I can't wait to dive into it. I completely forgot that I think Disney owns Nat Geo. And when I saw that, I'm like, holy fuck, yes. Like, give it to me. Because I love my documentaries. And fucking Free Solo's on there, dude. That won Best Documentary last year at the Oscars. And I can't wait to fucking dive into that shit.
Well, speaking of the docos, they've got their new exclusive show. What's it called? Jeff Goldblum's Explores the World or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That looks cool. I can't wait to watch that.
No, I haven't started that yet. I'll definitely dive into that eventually. There is I don't think you've seen this yet, but I watched it last night before I watched The Mandalorian. There is a 12-minute sort of little featurette called Expanding the Universe from Marvel. Did you check that out?
Zohead, it's me. Motherfucker, you know I watched that shit. You thought you had me. You thought you had me, bitch. Nah, I saw that shit. Fuck it, let's review it right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not really a review, and there's not really that much to spoil. Dude, talk about 12 minutes of just hype. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, here's our dicks, and then it's like, here's our bigger dicks, and then wait, one more. It's like fucking Phantom Menace. There's always a bigger dick. Like, you know what I mean? And it just looks
always a
like
bigger dick.
Yeah, it looks cool, dude. And like, seriously, finally, okay. So what if, like, Marvel's What If was kind of like on like because I'm a piece of shit and like I was like, oh, it's animated. Okay, like it'll be good, but I'm not, right. It's not right at the top of my list. Hey, just letting you know now, it's kind of up there now. Like that art style is fantastic, and like just kind of like knowing, like I already knew that the original voice actors were coming back, but man, like that, I am so far on board that hype train now that it's just ridiculous.
Fun fact: the first comic book I ever purchased with my own money was Avengers What If issue.
Yeah, and it's interesting, man, because like we have talked What If before, we have talked all these announcements before, but man, like just think about what an achievement this is for a cinematic universe. Like you don't get to do Marvel's What If you don't have 23, 24 movies behind you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like if DC brought this shit out tomorrow, we'd be laughing at it. Like
100%.
What if Jared Leto's Joker met Jacqueline Phoenix? Like, bitch, come on, make 20 movies first, and then we'll talk.
Fuck up. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Yeah, man. But no. Do you have anything else generally about Disney Plus?
Just that, like, for a while when I had Netflix, the main reason I was keeping it was for the new Marvel shows that were coming out, and now that's not happening. Like, and I'm gonna get it in even better format, even better shit on Disney Plus. It's like there's a part of me for a second thought, should I quit my Netflix account? No, it's still good. Netflix is still good. But I thought about it for a second, especially while I don't mean to segue here, but in watching The Mandalorian, see how much freaking money they threw into that thing. It's like, dude, they're going to do this to Marvel as well. Oh, fuck yes. Thank you very much.
It's going to be glorious.
So, yeah, very excited.
I own Jessica Jones Season 1 and Daredevil Season 1 on Blu-ray, so I can cancel my Netflix account. But yeah, man. All right, look, we already teased it. Let's talk The Mandalorian. It's not going to be a full-on review like we usually do for the movies and stuff like that. If you've listened to our upcoming attractions episodes where we kind of like covered Game of Thrones week by week, it's going to be like that. Obviously, we will be spoiling it because there's quite a lot of secrets here. So if you have not seen The Mandalorian episodes 1 and episode 2, maybe just give this a bit of a skip. So yeah. We apologize for that, but we're nerds. We're going to want to talk about this shit.
And if you're nerds, if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you've already seen it too. Yeah, so we're willing to take that risk. Yeah.
Exactly, 100%.
So do you want to talk about this episode by episode, or do you want to let's lump it all together, just general thoughts on it and stuff?
Yeah, let's do a high level kind of like sort of, lump it together, not episode by episode. I mean, I think as we do upcoming attractions episode every 2 weeks, we're going to be doing this more often. There's only 8 episodes, so I think we've got about 3 or 4 more times for us, 3 more times to talk about this. So yeah, let's bunch them together. Let's talk about 1 and 2. What were your thoughts of The Mandalorian chapters 1 and 2?
Wow. Where do you start with a show? Just like they did it. It's Rogue One as a TV show. They're pulling it off. They're pulling it off, and by extension, pulling off the fans. They are pulling our dicks because it is that crazy. Like there are moments, if I'm being nitpicky, where I can sort of see, oh, you spent less money here, but you spent more there. But like the production design in general is just so absolutely fantastic. Like within the first 5 minutes, like, oh, this is winning Emmy for best production design, no doubt about it. There's so many ways to go. The protagonist is interesting because I'm not used to watching a show and enjoying it with such a silent, kind of almost unlikable protagonist. I'm not used to enjoying a show with a character like that. So that's interesting. One thing I really want to dive into is the score and how unexpected it is.
Oh.
Like it's the first time watching a Star Wars anything where they're not trying to sound like Star Wars. It's so modern, and there's very rarely do they put the horns in your face. They're not overly relying. There's a theme where they're not overly relying on obvious Star Wars stuff. So you're not hearing Darth Vader's theme. You're not hearing the Imperial March. There are no musical cues. There are sound effects. There are characters, but it's not like Obi-Wan Kenobi has a cameo, you know? Oh, sorry, go on.
The guy that did the score is Ludwig Göransson, and I know I fucked that up, but he did the score for Black Panther, and he won an Oscar for that.
Damn. That's, well, obviously they got something good then, right? So that really surprised me. Also, like the intro, like they treat the Star Wars like a brand. You know, so they're trying to,
that surprised me.
They're trying to do like what Marvel does with their logo and how it all comes out. It's like, remember all these characters, nostalgia, here's a logo. And I imagine this means they intend to do that for a lot more. If they ever make a Solo 2 or something, that's probably where it would go. And I always found it really interesting watching Solo and Rogue One because they were always meant to be side stories, not part of the trilogies. So I was always interested to see like where do they deviate, but they still for the most part stayed very true to what those movies were. And this show, the Bible behind it all, it's very like, oh, hey, let's just get rid of a lot of these tropes of Star Wars and sort of make it our own, which I really appreciate because while the aesthetics and everything else around the thing does that, for the exception of some of the wipes, I feel like they use wipes a lot more here than the films do, but that's okay. The script, on the other hand, is so desperately trying to remind you that you're in a Star Wars universe. Like, in the first episode in particular, every scene, there's 3, like, Easter eggs. When that blue character mentions Life Day, it's like, wow, you're going to throw an Easter egg for the Star Wars holiday special in here? Really?
That went over my head.
And in that same scene, he's gone through Carbonite characters in Carbonite. So they really fucking threw the fan service in your face.
I didn't think that was.
They don't overdo it.
Really, yeah, I didn't really think that was fan service though. I mean, from what we know,
you could argue it's world building.
Yeah,
you could argue it's world building.
From what we know about bounty hunters, though, right? I mean, like, let's look at episode 5. That's how they transport their bounties. Like, I mean,
yeah,
like. That's what Boba Fett does, at least, right? And he's a Mandalorian, so it's kind of like I mean, for me, it wasn't really fan service. It's like the process, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do really well in this show is they sort of interweave fan service in a organic way, which is nice. Like, for example, in the first one, there's an IG robot bounty droid, which is a clear reference to IG-88, who is a very obscure side character from, I think, Jedi. That
IG-11.
Yeah, sorry. IG-11.
No, Return. No, it's not Jedi. No. So IG-11 is the one in Mandalorian. 88 is the one in Empire.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, he's in Empire. And then in the next episode, he fights 2 guys that look like Bosk, who's also with IG.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is that okay? Wow, someone's done their research.
No, I remember that from the game.
Damn.
IG-11. Did you recognize the voice?
I did not.
Really? Taika Waititi.
Oh, is that? I was trying to figure out where Taika was because his name was in the credits. I thought he was meant to direct an episode as well. Is that right?
He is. He will be. He's. I can't remember specifically off by heart which one is directing right now, but
I was trying to figure out who he was. Damn, that dude, that's crazy because that came out like the same week he was in Rick and Morty as a voice as well.
Oh, okay.
I think so, yeah. But yeah, dude, like that's absolutely incredible. I've been hogging up a lot of this time. Is there anything I haven't touched on that you want to dive into?
Not really. I mean, I've got a couple of negatives. I know the fucking negative Nancy over here, but no,
I don't have many, which is weird. Usually I'm the negative one.
Before I do talk about the negatives, I will say that I do want to jump on what you said, man. This is a beautiful, beautiful looking show. Like this is, man, like this is so fucking beautiful to look at. It looks like you've just walked into the Star Wars universe. I love the quiet lone gunslinger, lone cowboy sort of protagonist. I love that he never takes his helmet off. I love that he's got these badass lines like, I'm a Mandalorian. Like, what did he say? I'm a Mandalorian. Weapons is my religion. Like, I was just like, oh man, I think it moved. Like, I think it moved down there. But yeah, this is also directed. The first one was directed by Dave Filoni, who is a massive Star Wars, I guess, figure, right? Like I think he came up with the Clone Wars and Rebels. Is that a thing? I think it's
probably.
A thing. Yeah, and he wears a cowboy hat all the time. But second one is directed by Rick Famuyiwa, who directed the movie Dope. Like we already kind of touched on, there's going to be some pretty big directors coming up. Like I don't think Jon Favreau is directing any specifically, even though he created the show. Taika's definitely doing one. Bryce Dallas Howard's doing one, and I think Dave Filoni's closing it off in the finale.
I assume. Do you know if Favreau is his show running as well? Do you know?
Yeah, he's definitely show running, 100%. Yeah.
So his DNA will be in every episode, everywhere. Then
for sure. And I mean, like the guy knows how to create fun content. Like, you know what I mean? Like he knows what fans want.
Genius.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, he already posted like something on his Instagram the other day saying that The Mandalorian season 2 is now in production. So that's exciting. So yeah, man, this is a fantastic show. I'm really it's gotten off to a fantastic start. I'm really excited to see what the next 6 episodes bring us. Now to the negatives, okay? This is more of a backhanded compliment. The episodes are too short. Like, way too short. I know you've thrown so much money at this fucking thing, so, like, each minute will probably be $1 million or some shit. I don't know. But, man, the second episode, I feel like it ended before it started. Like, it was like, oh, wow, we're done. Okay, that was half an hour. Cool. Bye. Like, that's an episode of The Simpsons. Like, you know what I mean? So...
it's 40 minutes long. That's reasonable. You'll probably feel that way because
the first one was 40 minutes long. The third one, the second one is 30 minutes long.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought that'd be at least like 45 or so. 30's just a bit too short for me. And as a result, it feels like things are moving too quickly. Like, it feels like we've done a lot of shit with The Mandalorian in 110 minutes. 110? No, 70 minutes. Fuck.
I disagree because episode 2 to me feels like a filler episode. Like, if his thing wasn't scavenged, the story would be where episode 3 takes off, right?
No, it's definitely filler. But like what we like where we go, like for example, like we go from the Jawas to the egg to. I mean, like, we don't even start off with the Jawas. We start off with the Trandoshans, and then we go Jawas, and then we go big fucking Jawa truck chase, and then we go egg, and then we go battle with the creature, and then you get mini Baby Yoda Force. By the way, we'll talk mini Baby Yoda soon. We go Baby Yoda Force, and then it's back to the Jawas, and then repair the ship. In a montage, by the way. I think that was a second montage, and by that time I was like all montaged out. So it seems like we're doing a lot in that one episode still. Like, although it does feel like filler, we're moving from A to B to C to D pretty fucking quickly. I wish it takes its time a little bit more. Like I'd need a little bit more breathing room.
I gotta say, just before you move on to your next point, I'll chime in after each of your points, but I respectfully disagree. But that's probably because I know your taste is you prefer the slower burns than me. These don't feel like, to me, they feel just right. Like, they don't feel too short. I didn't even realize the second one was 10 minutes shorter. And I don't know. I feel like it moves pretty well. Like, sure, there was a montage, but I don't want to sit around and watch him build the thing. I think, if anything, if I had to be super nitpicky, I'd rather they didn't just have a episode where he's just got to scavenge and fly back. I'd rather just move on with the story. But I suppose that was to sort of build the fact about this Baby Yoda situation. So, yeah, I don't know the full story yet. But overall, sorry, I think the pacing's fine. That's me personally.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, and that's going to affect different people. For me, it was just a bit too quick and too choppy, and didn't really like that. I just because I do like things that take their time a bit more, and we get to know the characters. Like, I don't know pretty much anything about fucking Nick Nolte's character, the one who talks like this. That one.
Do you think he's going to come back, or do you think we're done with him?
I don't know, because I was not expecting IG-11 to go that quickly. So I don't know how quickly they're dispensing their characters still. We don't have like a constant sort of character besides the Mandalorian and now Baby Yoda, which you know could probably work in its favor. Honestly, what do you think?
I think we're definitely going to see a lot more of what's the name that guy who works for the Imperial, like the guy who gave him the deal. I think we're going to see a lot more of him.
Yeah, Werner Herzog.
And I'm willing to bet like the second last episode or somewhere near the end, we have an episode where he goes back to his home planet and you meet that woman who I assume is his wife. And I'm assuming we get like an episode more about Mandalorians and their homeworld a little bit. But besides that,
that's interesting. Actually, I don't think that was his wife. Are you talking about the armorer?
No,
the one who was like, you get a portion for this. I don't think that was his wife. I think it's just another Mandalorian.
Someone giving him something.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I don't know anything about the expanded universe or anything, but to me, it sounds like the Mandalorian are the equivalent of Spartans, somewhat. It sounds like they're kind of like raised or born and bred into this kind of like life.
Yeah.
And it sounds like as a result, they are kind of pretty revered. So they're pretty respected by people all across the galaxy. Like, you know, like, oh, it's a fucking Mandalorian. They can really get the job done kind of thing. And then therefore they kind of have like armorers and stuff like that to kind of like help them on their quests. I didn't really get the vibe that it was the wife.
Well, I only thought that because I guess ironic, right? I think you're right, to be honest, but I thought that because, it's him alone with a female and he was giving her something. And they're so, that's the one thing I like about this protagonist is so vague about everything, which I guess can kind of work in its favor. Like it's kind of noir-esque where it keeps you guessing a lot. Like this really doesn't want to spoon feed you. It doesn't leave you too much in the dark, which is why I'm still why I'm not like annoyed with it. But a lot of the time you're always guessing, what the fuck's he doing now? Yeah. What's happening now? But it's enough to keep me interested. Like keep me interested, and the world building is so good with it. So I'm on board still.
And I love that he's not an out-and-out good guy. Like, I love that, like, as soon as he sees the Jawas scavenging, he just starts disintegrating them. Like he just starts bombing on the little fuckers, you know? Like, it's fucking cool, dude. I like it.
Well, that goes back to my point where I feel like this is a really fan-servicey show because Disney's been listening, and we know the main films are meant to sell toys. That's their job. But this is like a real fan-servicey show because they know what the fans really want, what they've really been wanting. They want R-rated Star Wars, which they're never going to get, but this is like the next best thing. And like they know how much we loved Rogue One and the tone of that. So they're like, okay, copy, paste, make it 8 episodes.
Whoa,
and that's going to keep everybody happy.
Are you telling me there's no factories in China right now that are mass producing mini baby Yodas?
They're definitely, and they're stuffed toys. Like they're coming out. Like every Disney project needs a cute side character that doesn't talk. That's in every Pixar film. That's in most Disney films.
I am Groot.
You know, I am Groot. It's all the fucking robots. It's R2-D2. It's BB-8. That's why every movie. That's in number. What was it last year? They had those little weird mini teddy bear things that were like penguins or whatever the fuck they were. Yeah, that's right. So that's always gonna be a thing. But the whole serious tone, like the diehard, dedicated nerds, the ones that go up to every Comic-Con ever. This is the show that they've been dreaming of, and they're finally getting it.
What do you think about the little mini Yoda? I mean, it's not. Well, actually, we don't know that it's Yoda yet, or not.
Oh, it's not. It can't be because I assume this is after Jedi, isn't it?
It is. It is after Jedi, but I mean, there are a lot of theories out there. Haven't been reading into it or anything, but there are a lot of fucking theories out there, dude. Like
so. I haven't read much, but what I assume is one thing I do know is that Star Wars has always been very mysterious about Yoda's race. We don't know much about his race. We know there was like one other member of his race in, I think, episode one in the Jedi Council. And I think there was like a female Yoda in like a comic or something, or a cartoon or something. But they've always been very mysterious about it. I feel like this is where they're going to dive into it later on. And I think what's going to happen is they're just going to say that Yoda's race is always amazing with the Force, which is why they're always Jedis and shit.
I think they're still going with the midichlorian thing.
Maybe, but I think at the end of the day, the function of this character, one, it's to be cute and sell toys, and two, it's obviously to be like lore expansion. But the main thing plot-wise is this is a very common, like, tale where someone's on the run and they're trying to protect somebody. It's a very action trope. It's Logan. It's The Last of Us. Yeah. It's probably God of War, even though I've only played a few hours of it so far and loving it. But and it's also like, I don't know, a lot of 90s action films, I feel, in these early 2000s as well. So it's very much like that. But it's up to the show, like the writers, like which direction it goes. Are they going to go into, I think the obvious path is, he realizes this Yoda creature is too important to be in the hands of the Imperials. And so he's going to go on the run from the fucking Sith and he's going to try and protect her and get it home to its home planet or some shit. Or sorry, Imperial Galactic bad guys, whatever. The Stormtrooper people. That's the obvious way to go. Hopefully it doesn't go. I'm happy either way, but that's the obvious way to go, a story like this.
The Imperial has, like, the Empire has collapsed. Like, that's happened already. The second Death Star is blown up.
Yeah.
It's even mentioned in the first episode, the Empire has collapsed. So I think what, like, he's dealing with here is the remnants of that. Actually,
well, I guess the First Order could always be on the rise or some shit like that.
That could be a thing too. But here's another thing too. So, man, it's kind of like I love how many questions there are still, because it's like, why are the other bounty hunters in the guild sent to kill this thing, and the Mandalorian is the only one sent to protect? Sent to, you know, keep it alive, or like, you know, it's kind of like discretionary. It's like, we'd prefer it to be alive, but you know, it can be dead if you'd like. Whereas all the other bounty hunters are like, well, no, we were told to kill this thing. So I like that kind of mysterious element of it. And here's one of the theories, or the only theory that I read, and I'm not going to take credit for it. I read it on IGN. This is kind of interesting because if you look at the release schedule for the Mandalorian's episodes, it coincides with the release of Rise of Skywalker. And episode 7 drops episode 7 of The Mandalorian drops right before Rise of Skywalker, and then the final episode of The Mandalorian premieres after Rise of Skywalker. So it's kind of like, is there a cloning thing going on? Like, is this Yoda? Is there a cloning thing going on, and is this going to tie into the resurrection, or rather cloning of the Emperor? Because he is another returning character that we didn't really expect to see back.
Here's what I will say. That's fucking stupid. If it is, I fucking hate it. But I honestly think all the groundwork is there, so it could be true, but I really hope it isn't, because I hate the idea of killing off a character, cloning him to bring him back. Like, I really, really, really am hoping the Empire is just a Force ghost.
It can be done pretty well. He's not a Force ghost, dude. I doubt he's a Force ghost. Like, I'm just going to put that out there. That's what I think. I think you might be right, and I don't like that. Like, I'm sure, I hope they've got some amazing explanation and why he's still around, but I really grit my teeth when I hear people talking about Grey Jedi and these like overly complex scenarios, because Star Wars is not Saw. It's not Jigsaw. It's not Saw where they're going to have these crazy twists that take 500 turns. The twist Star Wars has is, you kill my father? No, on your father. Okay, done. Like, it's something really quick. It's not, ha ha ha, first I cloned myself 3,000 years ago, and then I put it into a data file that was sent to your mother, who is actually your uncle's dad, who then raised it as a child, and with all these extra steps. Like, that would be so un-Star Wars, I feel. I mean, I think... I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think they're going to make it that complex. I think they'll dumb it down pretty well.
Well, that's the thing that they do, especially with the newer ones. They always dumb shit down, and then they let the expanded universe be extra nerdy with it if they want. So as long as it's like, I know this is weird, but as long as they keep it simple, I'm okay with it.
Cool.
But that's a great observation, and I can see that happening because even though it's technically not Disney, Marvel's done this. The best example I think is the Winter Soldier. Actually, no, that was Disney. The Winter Soldier. Was it Disney? Did Disney had released Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Winter Soldier tied. Yeah, that's right, because ABC is Disney owned. Winter Soldier tied into an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they both took place at the same time. And the episode dropped, I think, the day after the release of the movie. They did the same thing with Thor: The Dark World, but not as well. But the episode Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. took place at the same time as the movie. It was fucking awesome. So maybe they're going to
tie in as much, to be honest. I think
thematically, if it's the whole clone thing, that's thematics. Like, that's something.
But I mean, it's like, man, people always fucking complain about like, oh, we want Star Wars content that is away from the Skywalker saga. But then it's like they'll constantly try and find little threads to connect it to that. And I'm just like, well, pick a lane, people. Pick a fucking lane.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Like, I really hate some of the, like... I just want to put this out there real quick before we move on and just get your thoughts on it too. But have you noticed, like, when we were younger, not a lot younger, but when we were kids, I don't know about you, but I like the sequels. Most people I knew like the prequels. Sorry, because we were young and they were awesome. But as you get older, you realize they're shit, not shit, but they're definitely not of as high a standard. But now with this new generation below us that are younger than us growing up, they're come up saying the prequels are better than the older ones. And you see them, they're always like General Grievous, the best Star Wars character, and Obi-Wan, and they've made all these memes, and it was so popular, it's justifying Obi-Wan getting his own series with Ewan McGregor back. And I feel like it's really funny because people talking shit on, we saw people love quickly turn to hate and loop back around. And I feel like we're going to get that with some of the franchises that people shit on now. In 10 years, they're going to have massive fan bases. Like, I don't know, Transformers, we call them really shit. But in 10 years, they're going to own all the memes. They're going to ask, people are going to be begging for a Transformers reboot and even though people give Megan Fox shit, they're going to like, we need Megan Fox to come back, even though she's like 800 years old. Like, I hate to say it, but I feel like that's the way these type of things are going to go because I'm seeing it with Star Wars.
Well, it's cyclical, and like Star Wars itself, and you know, it's something that George Lucas would say. It's it rhymes with itself, right? Like, I mean, like the original trilogy rhymes with the prequel trilogy, and the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy rhyme with the sequel trilogy. So it's like they kind of like follow each other. And I think Star Wars is is like that. I don't know much about. I don't really know about the Transformers one, but I mean, hey, it's more like a. Yeah, I don't know. I thought you were segueing here into our next topic, which is toxic fandom.
I'm not.
Okay. Well, I mean, like toxic fandom,
but
right?
I don't know. I just noted, but I just feel
like we've talked about this so much, dude. Like it's like a.
I just want to acknowledge the generational divides between the fan base because it's been going on for so long. But I do find it interesting that things can come back in a weird way, which is just kind of cool. Like seeing Darth Maul in a Han Solo film, like. That wouldn't have happened 10 years ago because of the fan base was different then. So, I don't know. I find that interesting. And also, before we wrap up, real quick, the credits, I love them. I love how they throw concept art behind it. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's definitely fucking slick, dude. We were kind of, what you were talking about was kind of getting into toxic fandom, I think.
I see the segue now. I didn't figure it. I got it now. Okay, yeah.
Toxic fandom, hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Holy fuck, this thing has taken off in the last few weeks.
Okay, this is funny because I thought you were talking about Sonic the Hedgehog.
No. Oh, you know what, dude? That's a segue into the next topic. Yay!
Yeah, we've got a good through line here, folks.
I just want to say, okay, so let's lay the groundwork out for release the Snyder Cut because I guess not everyone's familiar with it. Really, really briefly, this is kind of like my job on the podcast and in real life to summarize things, I guess, and put them in plain English. Justice League, released in 2016. Original director was Zack Snyder, who directed Man of Steel. He left the project because his daughter died, and the movie was in the middle of production and was replaced by Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon released the movie. He directed the rest of it. Apparently, no one really loved it. And apparently there is a vocal minority who believe that there is a Snyder cut of the film out there. Warner Brothers have continually...
Sorry, just to interrupt there. Joss Whedon also did a major rewrite, hence the state of the film. That should be mentioned.
Yeah, no, exactly. Warner Brothers have continually said that version does not exist. Zack Snyder says that it does exist, and in the last few weeks, pretty much all of the cast of Justice League except Henry Cavill have shown support for hashtag release the Snyder Cut. I remember Kevin Smith a while ago mentioned that he was on the set. He actually, I can't remember what really happened. Oh yeah, he was on the set of it, right? And basically he saw how it was going to be. It was going to be this massive sort of like 3-film sort of like massive epic. Doomsday was going to be in it. There was going to be a lot more to the movie. Steppenwolf was never a thing. And yeah, that was the thing. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on the Snyder Cut? I'm kind of at the point of like reaching tipping point of like I'm kind of getting over hearing about this because I've been hearing it on and off since 2016. So I'm a little fatigued by it, but just hit me. Go.
I thought we were done with this over a year ago, but it's interesting now because I've never seen a situation where the director and other major people in Hollywood and pretty much an entire cast has come out in support of something started by fans like this. It's kind of bizarre, especially
they are still
since
the vocal minority. Let's put that out there.
Well,
even though
that's
they're trending
because
on Twitter.
I think it's because the major public isn't aware of it. But I do have some extra thoughts I want to lead into. On the Snyder Cut, but I just want to acknowledge how unprecedented this is. I feel like at this point, WB has to respond. And I gotta be honest, I'm very interested to see it because from my understanding, the Snyder Cut or the Snyder version was a very different film. It was much darker. We know Henry Cavill posted a photo early on that he was meant to wear a black suit for a lot of it. And Superman, I imagine Spider-Man was in this. Superman was going to be a villain for a lot of the film. And you can sort of see in parts of the film where the groundwork was laid for other things that don't happen. However, I got to get into the point that I've been making for multiple years. I think there is a Snyder Cut out there. It involves a lot of unused CGI and unshot scenes, but it's fucking terrible. It's just going to be slightly better than Man of Steel 2. Batman v Superman. The thing is you got to remember, like, this was made like the second they finished Batman v Superman. He was in the same mindset, and you can tell by the way it's shot. It looks like a Zack Snyder film, which is a good thing. It's very dark and overly stylish in the coolest ways possible. But the problem with Zack's last few films, man, he is so hell-bent on trying to make his films seem smart by adding all his philosophy and these metaphors about gods and man and all the type of shit you don't really want in a superhero film. His superhero films, none of them are fun. That's okay if it's Watchmen, because Watchmen is that kind of film. But when you start to take the fun out of Superman, like, that's a problem. When you start making me getting bored during a Batman movie, what the fuck are you doing? Like a similar film went through a similar thing with Suicide Squad, but where they both were like told halfway through, change the tone, make them more fun. And weirdly enough, I hate to say it, but Suicide Squad was more successful in making a good film over Justice League, I feel. Maybe not by a lot, but Justice League has some great action set pieces, and that's it. The humor is kind of forced, but the one redeeming factor in it, besides the amazing memes we got of Henry Cavill's weird CGI'd face, is with all the reshoots, as weird as his face looks, Henry Cavill is giving us a Superman we haven't seen since, like, Christopher Reeves. Those few moments and those few scenes which weren't going to be in the Snyder Cut, Superman felt like Superman, and we haven't felt that in years. And I would love to see that again. But ultimately, you got to remember, like, the Snyder Cut, like, there are fans that are very behind him because there are some hardcore DC fanboys who I think are pretty toxic, who love the over-the-top stylish aggression of it. I'm not a fan of that personally, and I know Zack Snyder would have loved to have made a 6-hour film. So personally, I think that movie would have sucked. So I didn't want to see a Snyder Cut, but if it's out there, I'll fucking watch it because you know me, man. I love seeing this behind the scenes craziness to it. But that's kind of all I have to say about it. What about you, man?
Man, I am not interested in seeing this, well, either of these versions. I mean, I've seen the Joss Whedon one, and I really was not a fan. And I can tell you right now, I don't think the Snyder Cut's going to be that much more impressive. I mean, even if they drastically change everything, I can't see it being much better. I think it's more like if it is out there, it looks like shit. Because it's unfinished, and I think Warner Brothers are being like, well, we're not going to spend the money to go and fucking complete this movie because it's still technically a vocal minority. We're not going to earn this money back, so fuck it. We're not going to release it. Like all of the effects, and this is a very heavy effects-driven movie. It's not going to be completed. It's going to look like garbage. So I'm good. You know what? I'm fucking good, man.
I think people, what they forget too is like. You've probably heard about it when they re-released Endgame and they released like a deleted scene of the Hulk looking like a shitty CGI.
Yeah,
like
you keep bringing up like other examples, but the most relevant one is Superman 2. So I'm going to read you off a little bit of trivia. So,
I know this, yeah.
Yeah, during the production of Superman Returns, Warner Bros. Acquired the rights from Marlon Brando's estate to use his footage from Superman into the film. Shortly after, Ilya Salkind confirmed that Donner was involved in the project to recut Superman 2 using Brando's unused footage. Editor Michael Tao worked on the project alongside Donner and Tom Mankiewicz, who supervised the Superman 2 reconstruction. Despite some initial confusion, Tao confirmed that all of the footage shot by Richard Donner in 1977 was recovered and transferred from a vault in England. The new edition, titled Superman 2 The Richard Donner Cut, was released on DVD, HD DVD, and Blu-ray on November 28, 2006. Nearly 30 years, dude. 29 years later, we got a different version of the film. Like, fuck?
I've seen both versions, and it's like... you can see why it happened there. But it's funny. It's another DC product with Superman that went through the same thing. And it's funny because Superman 2 is the best of those Christopher Reeves ones as well. Man.
Wait, not Superman the movie? I haven't seen either, actually. Sorry, Michael Pauls.
You said Superman 2, right?
Pauls.
Yeah, with Richard Donner, yeah? Yeah. Number 2 is probably the best of them all, I would say.
I think... interesting. I haven't heard that opinion.
Well, 1's also great, but I think 2's got more action. So as a kid, when I watched it, I liked it more. But it's the first 2 are good, and then afterwards they get really bad. Like 3 and 4 are laughably bad. I think the other thing to mention is No, I'm just going to leave that. Snyder Cut, It won't be good, but I think it'll be an interesting case to see it done. It's just, I think when people, if it ever does come out, the people campaigning for it are going to be very disappointed unless they throw a lot of money into it, like they did with Sonic, to redo a lot of CGI and stuff.
You know what, man? They, I know you left me a thread there for a segue, but I have one more point to make.
Let's get into it.
Man, like, I feel like the fucking Snyder Cut people are like the Flat Earth people. Like, it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, I can't. I can't.
Sorry, go on.
I'm just saying, just move on, dude. Like, DC's in a new fucking era with Joker now. Let's keep this going.
Well, the thing I also want to mention, which I almost forgot to say before, was there were a lot of speculation, rumors going around at the time, which, you know me, I was on top of all that shit, and I was very much on board with this very vocal minority. But there's a wide belief that WB were looking for a reason to kick Zack Snyder off the project anyways. And like they use this as a scapegoat to get him out of there. So, cause otherwise, if they believed in the vision and they liked the product, and this is besides all the rumors of on-set problems and stuff, they would have just stuck clear to the script. In fact, when Joss Whedon came in, he said, this is still Zack Snyder's film. I'm just filling in for a few scenes. But you watch that movie and how Frankenstein it's together, and then later on, like, things came out about him redoing stuff, you would know that's not the same film, because you can tell where the reshoots are because Henry Cavill has a PS2 graphic quality face.
God,
you know?
It looks so bad.
So you can tell. But the weird thing is like those scenes are like when the character's at his best, he looks like shit. So like
it looks like fucking plasticine, dude. Like it looks like a Ken doll.
It was like one step forward, two steps back, I feel. And I think if Joss Whedon started with the film, it would turn out to be a thing I would have fucking loved.
So I'm excited for his Batgirl, dude. Or did he walk away from that? Is that a thing?
I believe he's no longer attached to that.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Oh well, yeah, whatever. Don't care right now.
But yeah, anyways, cool shit.
Man, holy shit!
Hey, remember that segue I loaned you earlier? Would you like to pick it up and drive over here?
Yeah, I'll take it and run with it. We're still talking toxic fandom, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking Sonic the Hedgehog released a brand spanking new trailer with a newly redesigned character. Matt, you're the one that's I was going to say more interested in this, but I'm just going to leave it as interested in this because everyone knows my thoughts on this movie already, dude. I'm just going to leave that right there. Hit me. What do you think about the newly redesigned character?
Okay, so let's just talk about the redesign and then let's talk about the actual trailer. The redesign, it's amazing how much the internet loves it. Like, they are going crazy. There's predictions that it cost them $35 million to do this redesign, which is insane. And actually brought on one of the Sonic manga artists on for it. And yeah, it looks like Sonic now. It doesn't look like a weird, obscure fan art that cost too much money. It feels and looks like Sonic, which obviously is going to make the fans happy. That doesn't mean it's going to be a good film, and that's where I want to lead into when we talk about comments. But I will say, I think I like how he's more cartoony. I do enjoy that. It does feel like Sonic, but now it looks like he's in a different film, because before the original design, I think, was made to fit within this world of realism, and now he's like, it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where they've just thrown this cartoon character in there.
Nice.
And like, he looks way much, which by the way, I saw was on Disney Plus. I would love to rewatch that again, because I haven't seen it since I was a kid. But yeah, it looks like Sonic, but like at what cost? That's the thing. And also, I would want to say, as much as people love the new redesign, I can't help but feel that the stuff around his mouth looks really plasticky, and that's because that doesn't exist in nature. And
it's Henry Cavill.
It kind of is a little bit. And so I find that's a bit funny, but I do like how he's furry now and things like that. Do you have any, and I think like the internet's going to support it because they got what they asked for, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze right now. No, I'm good. Okay, I'm good. Do you have any thoughts? No, I'm not good. Anyway, sorry about that.
It was coming.
Excuse me, listeners. Before I talk about the trailer, do you have any overall thoughts about the redesign? Are you happy it got redesigned? Do you think it's better? Do you think it's worse? What are your thoughts on the redesign?
I mean, honestly, the first time I saw this trailer, I was like, oh, he looks the same. and like, you know why? Because my care factor is just a total zero. Like, I'm not saying that that's a. It's not a dig against you. It's not a dig against the fucking fan base. It's not a dig against the filmmakers. It's just like, it's not. I was never into Sonic as a kid. I'm not going to connect with this movie. I'm not going to connect with the promotion material of this movie. So why should I care about this? Like, why should I care about like this whole changing like of like the design? Like, I just don't. And it's funny actually. Before we do move on into the specific trailer, we're going to be covering the movie Misery this week, or rather next week when this episode drops. Have you seen Misery, Matt?
Honestly, I never even heard of it, I don't think.
Okay, so Misery is a pretty famous movie. It's based off a Stephen King novel. I'm going to give you the premise. So basically, it's a writer, famous writer. He gets into a car accident and he gets rescued by a woman. And this woman constantly tells him that it's his number one fan. And she basically keeps him hostage and makes him write an entire new book that is to her liking. Does that not sound like toxic fandom to you? If someone got Zack Snyder in their fucking basement and was like, all right, well, you make this shit how I want it to be. Like, you know what I mean? So it's funny that we're like talking about like this like toxic fandom of like, you know, release the Snyder Cut, this is what we want, and then like now it's like Sonic, release the fucking give us the Sonic that we want. Like
it's a common theme with celebrities. Like, you know, Eminem, like one of his biggest hits, The Way I Am, is just complaining about fans annoying him the whole time, or you know, if you want to get into something you want to laugh about, fucking John Travolta just did a movie with Fred Durst about that same topic.
God,
it was a horror film.
I saw that.
Oh, you actually watched it?
No.
Is this bad as I say it? Oh.
No, I saw that he considers it a good movie. That's it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And I was going to say, wow, you're like one of the only people on the planet who saw it. Congrats. But I think, it's a common theme throughout history. But at the end of the day, like, it's like a sickness. People don't understand their love for it. In fact, the music world has a lot of that. I just read a story the other day, which is really fucked up, about it was by some girl who was complaining about the pop singer Charlie XCX, and specifically she has a lot of members of the gay community who are fans of hers, but apparently it's popular in their circles to sort of troll her. And like there was an incident where some guy got her to sign a douche and she didn't know what it was, and he kept just sort of making fun of her by getting her sign all these like overly sexual things and things like that. And that's always going to be a case. People are assholes sometimes, and when it comes to famous people, like they don't seem real, so people feel like they can just do that. And it can be the same with movies too. Just because you like something though doesn't mean you're right.
See, I used to think it was the internet, but it's not just the internet. Like, I mean, like Misery came out in 1990 and was like forward looking enough to kind of like, you know, be like, oh, man, like there's still fucking rabbit fans out there who want their own content and they're not happy with the way things are. And anyway, man, look, let's get into it. Sonic the Hedgehog trailer 2. What do you think?
So I didn't get the vibe of what kind of movie it was very strongly from the first trailer, but I got from this, and I hate to say, actually, you know what? It's acceptable to say this. God damn, Sonic is annoying as fuck. He won't shut the fuck. I get he's fast, but he won't shut the fuck up. And this hurts me because when they announced that his voice actor was Ben Schwartz, I was like, perfect casting. He's so good for that role. He would make sense as that character. But maybe just the way they cut it, but I'm guessing it's not. Sonic is really annoying. And that's when I realized watching this film is, oh no, this is a young kids movie. They are really trying to get them young so they can grow up and love Sonic for a new generation and stuff. This is Sonic for a new generation, which is a fucking nightmare, because if the filmmakers knew who the only people give a fuck about Sonic is, it's a toxic fan base who love making memes. And if anyone knows the Sonic fan base, Sonic has one of the most toxic fan bases out there. I'd probably up there with Rick and Morty, where like his popularity has continued through the years based off fan art and hentai of sexually explicit content, semi-racist memes at times, and just like 4chan. That's what's kept him mostly alive. He has had his games throughout the years, but a lot of them have been known to suck. In fact, he's had 2 occasions where it could have put Sega almost in bankruptcy and stuff. So that's why they make some crazy risks sometimes. And it's a shame, because Sonic at his heart, like, he's on life support, to be honest. A lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for him, and Sega is really good at milking that out. But mascot platformers have not been big especially in 3D world, in years and years and years. The only ones that have managed to like survive that has been like Mario and I guess Crash Bandicoot sort of, but not even really. And I don't know, sometimes I look at Sonic and I want him to keep going and do well, but sometimes I look at him just like, let this franchise die. And this comes from a kid who really loved going to Seeker World that one time as a kid. But overall with the rest of the trailer, I don't know, it's cool to see Jim Carrey be Jim Carrey again. I don't know, just it is disappointing though watching this trailer and just realizing, oh, they're not making this for me. That's my biggest takeaway. But I do love how there are some references to the old games and stuff. But yeah, like sometimes you get what you want and it's not what you wanted, and that's what this trailer is. And yeah, I'm not that excited to see it. I was hoping it could be up there with Detective Pikachu as a decent video game movie. It's not. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I kind of got the vibe that they were creating this. This is a kids movie created for kids from that first trailer. Like I kind of got that, so I don't have any disappointment or any negative thoughts about that, because it's just more like, for me, it's like, what did you expect? Like, what? I mean, like
I can see, yeah. Like I guess I should have seen that. Like I thought they might just try and appeal to both demographics. Like they might try and do that, but they clearly haven't. They're clearly not.
And it could come out being like the Lego Movie, right? Like it could come out being like something that was intended for both adults and children, but I doubt it, because man, both trailers are a massive indicator that this is a movie that's intended for a much younger audience than us. And yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, I just don't know what people were expecting. Like, it's a fucking children's movie. It's a children's character. It's bright colors, fucking, pop music, and like, what else do people expect? I don't know. It's kind of like a no-win scenario. It's like a fucking Kobayashi Maru from Star Trek. Like it's like a, yeah, like we can't win over the fans every time, and like I feel like that's what's happening here. I'm not gonna watch it. Just I want to put that out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't expect you to, man. I really don't. In fact, like just look at this film, it does make me look at, and you know me, I like seeing films where I see this, where it's like, wow, there's a lot of weird decisions here which are not good. Like when I look back at the first trailer, it's like, if you're trying to appeal to kids, why the fuck did you put an 80s song from Gangsta's Paradise in there? Why are you doing all this? And also, why is the lead actor next to Sonic so old? Like, what is he, like fucking 40? If it's meant to be a kid's... Yeah. If he's a kid's movie, fucking age him down by like 25 years or something, It's, it just seems weird decision after weird decision. It's weird enough that, like, the Dr. Eggman or Robotnik, who Jim Carrey plays, is meant to be fat as shit. And, like, I don't know, I guess Jim Carrey is going to be the only highlight of this film, if a highlight at all. But, yeah, man, I was going to call it, this film's not going to be good at all.
Dead on arrival?
Probably. I think it's got some chance to have some good redeeming moments. Like he's a fast character. You can always do fun stuff with fast characters. Look at Quicksilver. Look at Flash. Both of those characters can really get good comedy from and stuff. But like, I feel like we've seen so much of that. It's like, I don't expect this film to break any new ground, because it just feels like the filmmakers are really out of touch with this film. Like, it's bad enough they made that original decision, but there are other decisions around that which look equally as weird. So, and also, I've got to say, both trailers unfunny. Don't find any of the jokes funny. So, yeah, actually, I'm just getting to that. Dead on Arrival, I'll watch it out of curiosity, but this film looks like it's shaping up to be a dumpster fire that will be slightly less bad, because I think we'll do slightly less bad in the box office, because I think people will go see it just to see Sonic and just to see it and like sort of rooting for the redesign. But I'll be fucking surprised if this gets a sequel, and they want this to be a franchise.
Yeah, I won't say it. So I'm going to be happy to. I'll be happy to hear your criticisms on it. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, man. Let's talk about something fucking good, or probably is most likely to be good. Man, we've waded through some shit the last two subjects. Let's talk about something that's gonna bring our spirits up a little bit. Let's talk about The Invisible Man.
Right. Directed by Lee Winnell, who I'm a big fan of. Actually, a friend of mine, shout out to Benjamin, recently interviewed him for something, actually, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, you went to a Q&A. Yeah.
I saw a Q&A of him also recently, and yeah, because he was shooting this in, I think, Melbourne. No, he was shooting this in Sydney. This was shot in Sydney, I think.
What? Really?
I think so, yeah, because his last project, Upgrade, was shot in Melbourne but edited here. And I think that's why he was able to do that Q&A, is because he was in town. Because I think some of it was done in Sydney at least. Maybe it was just the post-production. I could be wrong.
I'm going to fact check this.
Yeah, please do. But yeah, The Invisible Man, based on one of those old Universal monster franchises. I think this was originally... No?
Yeah.
Was I wrong?
I mean, no, you are somewhat correct. So it goes back actually before then. It's funny, because I actually used to own the book that it's based on, H.G. Wells. It's pretty fucking old. Like it's way before the Universal monster era. Like it was 1897. Like that's how far back this property goes.
Well, I guess that's what happened to Frankenstein too, right? It was a book and then Universal picked it up. Hey.
Yeah, Mary Shelley. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe this was originally intended to be part of that dark universe that a bunch of shit with the Mummy.
Yeah, Johnny Depp was originally cast.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And now it just looks like, let's be honest, kind of a typical Blumhouse film, which isn't a bad thing. Like most studios wish they were Blumhouse right now because they can turn $5 million into millions more very easily.
It's funny that we're going to talk about this movie and then the next movie kind of back to back because they're both Blumhouse projects. I think this one looks a lot more sort of like a lot more original and like kind of has a bit more of the director's sort of like sort of sensibilities in the trailer than the next one. I think this looks fantastic. I mean, like, you know, it could come off looking pretty goofy in the trailer, but I think fucking Lee Winnell has got some pretty a good eye for this kind of stuff, really.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, like this trailer has trouble selling me because I don't know, there's something about it doesn't stand out so much. I think it's because we're so spoilt in this day and age. Oh, we can turn invisible, what a big deal. But it's Lee Winnell behind it, who I love, and Blumhouse generally make good horror films. The thing is, like, they often make ones aimed at younger audiences, which is like what the next movie Fantasy Island is, but this one looks a bit more mature, which is exciting. Like maybe give us like some Conjuring vibes or something. But like I'm getting very overseeing a lot of horror movies about spirits and stuff. I like a physical creature, so I'm excited for that. Also, the lead actress in this, I forget her name, but I've seen her before and she's
Elizabeth
pretty good.
Moss. Yeah, she
That's
leads.
right.
She's the lead in *Handmaid's Tale*. She was in *Us* as well.
That's right. Yeah, like she's a good get. I think you've got a franchise. Like it looks like a bit bigger than what Blumhouse would tend to do. Like they often like try and make them as cheaply as they can because then they can get away with it, and they usually get real good bang for their own buck. But this one's like you got a pre-established franchise, you got a name attached.
They did.
You got a good director. Oh, did they? Okay,
Jason Blum really pushed that. Then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, yeah, I'll take that fucking back, right? But I guess for exception of Halloween, like they a lot of their meat and potatoes are cheaply made films but still do kind of well. But this one looks like a little bit above what their standard stuff is. And yeah, I'll watch it for sure because I love the director on that alone.
For sure.
I never watched the original. I never watched any of the original ones. The original one. I always feel like the Lawnmower Man is also the Invisible Man, but it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah. And the Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon is not really the same thing either.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was actually shot in Sydney. Lee Winnell released a a tweet. 16th of July. Any recommendations for things to do in Sydney? No? Okay. I think I'll just go shoot a movie then, starting today.
That's amazing.
Really, I'm stoked for this movie, dude. It looks great. I think he's a great director. I mean, based off Upgrade alone, that movie was fantastic. So yeah.
Oh my god,
the guy's got me. The guy's got me. Let's talk Fantasy Island. This was
like I feel like we covered a bunch there. Like it's an interesting concept. As what is it? You go to an island, your wildest fantasies will come true, but your fantasy will turn against you. I feel like it's been done before in another way. I just can't think of an example. I feel like folk tales have done stuff like that, like way back. It's not like a incredibly original concept. You could get some good scares, but this looks very PG-13. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm getting really over watching PG-13 horror movies. Like I think watching Happy Death Day to You kind of just broke the camel's back for me. And now every time I see a film that's aimed at such a horror film aimed at such a young audience, it's just like, I can't relate or connect to it anymore. Maybe I'm sounding old, but it's just, they're never scary. They're always really poppy. This one's a bit interesting because I've noticed, I think it releases on Valentine's Day, and it's a bit more female centric. Like they got, I think there's Ariana Grande or something playing in it. Female protagonist I feel like she's probably from some Disney Channel thing.
Maggie Q. Maggie
what's she from? What's she from? Do you know?
Die Hard 4.0. She's been in a bunch of stuff.
What?
Mission Impossible 3.
What?
Yeah. She's been in some shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good for her, I guess. Good. Yeah. Wow. I'm surprised. But yeah, it does look very like, they're leaning slightly more towards the female demographic of this. So I think they're hoping for it to be a date movie on Valentine's.
We're making assumptions left, right, and center. It's a female movie. Let's make it a date movie. Oh, shit. That's going to get us some backlash. Fight me, BuzzFeed. You know horror movies are great date movies. Oh, boy. Matthew is mansplaining.
Welcome to Midnight Double Mansplain. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say on the... Oh, also, was that... Oh, God, I hope I'm not wrong when I say this. Was that Michael... what's his name? Michael
Fox?
No, from Ant-Man. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, Michael Pena. Yeah.
Michael Pena. That's him in there, right?
Yeah, that's him. 100%.
Yeah, wow, okay. Good for him, I guess, getting that money.
Good for him.
I thought his career was going better places personally, but okay. That's just me. So, but yeah, I don't know. What else do you got on this? I don't have much to say.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, pretty much I'm on the same boat as you. I'm kind of over these like sort of like overproduced PG-13 horror movies. This one in particular reminded me a lot of Escape Room. Remember Escape Room?
Yeah, it's the same vibe.
Yeah.
Exact same vibe.
Right, exactly. Same vibe, and it's concept over anything else, really. It's more about like the concept of the premise of the fucking movie, right? This movie, the director doesn't really give me much hope. I mean, the guy's name is Jeff Wadlow. He directed Kick-Ass 2, not the good one, not the good Kick-Ass. He directed Truth or Dare. Yikes.
Yeah, I saw Truth or Dare. That also is the same exact tone as this. And Truth or Dare was definitely not good.
Yeah, he's also writing Bloodshot, so hey, okay.
There you go.
All right. I probably won't be saying this, really. Probably a Sunday night if I'm bored kind of thing.
Yeah, same. Like,
Michael Rook is in this movie, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Oh, yeah. Old Merlin himself.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing him in the trailer.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, I think I've never really had this moment in my life before, but like I think I've realized a type of genre of movie I don't like. Like, I can't think of many genres where it's like I'm absolutely against, but specifically like Fisher-Price, my first horror movie, kind of getting over them. They're all the same. They all have the same characters. They all have no depth. The scares are never scary to me. And I'm also maybe I'm going out of horror because I don't really like spiritual horror, holy demon shit either. Like, I like to see the guy killing you, you know?
Like, what do you mean? Like a Halloween kind of situation?
Like, yeah, give me a Halloween or give me zombies. Like, you can see zombies, or you could be just a crazy murderer, or it could be like, I think, yeah, that's like the horror I like. I'm realizing like I'm just really, I think Paranormal Activity started a trend and I'm over it now of just seeing people being thrown into a wall constantly. Because if you're some demon, you can kill someone, just snap their neck. Why keep throwing them into walls and shit? Like, it's annoying to watch people getting, because I can tell they're on a wire, you know, at this point. I think I've seen too many horror movies that it's starting to really get to me. Or give me some psychological.
Yeah, well, I was about to jump on that train. Like, for me, definitely 100%, it's the psychological horror that sticks with me a lot these days. Like, Get Out and Us, but then you've got Ari Aster's movies as well, like Hereditary. I have not seen Midsommar yet. I really, really want to. You've got, I mean, A Cabin in the Woods is not a psychological horror movie, but it's still very cleverly done. I wouldn't even really call it a horror movie, actually. A Quiet Place, really, really fucking great.
Love it.
Fucking, dude, I gave this a 10 out of 10. I'd watched it for the first time on the podcast, for the podcast. The Babadook, holy fucking shit.
Oh, yeah.
Is that movie fucking good, man? Like, and it's good because it's purely psychological and like it stands as a metaphor for something else. Like I love those kinds of movies. Don't give me schlocky bullshit like, you know, you're gonna forget everything that happened in this movie by the time you leave the cinema. Like, don't give me that shit. I won't like
there is I don't want to call it a trend because it's not overly done or anything, but there is this like new generation of, I think it did exist back in the day, but it's more prominent now with horror movies that like represent something, like it's a meaning for something. Like It Follows has like a big thing about sex.
Yeah, STDs, yeah.
Or Get Out is like racism.
No, I love that shit.
Yeah, like Babadook the same. Dude, quick side story about the Babadook, which really got to me. I did a quick producing course early last year, and we had people from like all different funding bodies come in and teach a class. And if you want to understand the state of Australian films, the Babadook, I would argue, is one of our most. Yeah, do you hear about my story about?
Oh no, I talked about the state of Australian films and how pretty bad it is.
Well, like up there with like our only really major exports that do well are horror. Like Wolf Creek did well.
Mad Max.
We did, Mad Max. Oh, besides, you got Mad Max 2 as well. You've got like, I guess like The Loved Ones was all right, but like we haven't had a lot of big hits, and I think Babadook did well overseas as well. And so imagine how I must have felt when I was talking and I was listening to some teacher in a very small selective class of only 10 students, talking about, well, they weren't even a teacher, they're like some producer, and they're talking about some successful Australian films. And they're like, and we're really proud of Babadook because as of this year, it's now making profit. And I screamed, like I could not hold myself. I'm like, what? And they're like, no, it's really good for Australian film to be making money now. It's like, this movie came out over 5 years ago. I'm like, yeah, and it's made back all its money. I'm like, are you serious? Like Avengers makes triple its budget in the weekend or something, Yeah. And I guess that's a huge example, but it just goes to show like marketing and how like we're seeing foreign films overseas and stuff, and how Australians don't support Australian cinema much. It's really sad, but like I'm like there, it's like with my head in my hands, like should I just not chase these dreams of making films? Like no, this should inspire you. This is good. I'm like, you're telling me the investors did not get their money back for up to 5 years, like all their money back for 5 years? Like, no, that's a good thing. They got it over time. And I was like, my head's in my hands. It's like, do I just quit now? And like they keep saying, no, this is a good thing. But to me, it sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I guess everybody got paid still and all that. So that's good. But yeah, incredible. Anyways, we're way off topic. But Babadook is way more fun to talk about.
We got lost in the weeds. Dude, you weren't even on that episode, but hey. Yeah, I love it. That was a great episode too. So if you guys want to go back and check that out, for sure, go do that and check out the Babadook if you haven't, because give those investors their money. They have been waiting for a while. So, all right, man. Let's move on to the final trailer of the evening. Scoob.
I forgot we're talking about this. Wasn't there a Ben Affleck film we want to talk about as well?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Scoob and then we'll get to the Ben Affleck one.
Okay. Scoob. We got a new take on Scooby-Doo. Timeless classic. Generations love him. This one, it looks like they try to touch on how they met sort of vibe, but it feels like a big missed opportunity since they're at a beach and at a horror place. Look, the only thing I just want to say is like, I want to acknowledge that this is, they're really trying to get in a new generation with this, because the art style is this new modern approach to art, which I'm kind of getting overseeing. Like we saw Peanuts and Smurfs and some others do this, where like they're really simplifying it. And I guess with animation, like 2D animation, we're seeing that too from like your Rick and Morty's and like Gravity Falls and everything else on Cartoon Network. But like this new modern trend is to go real minimal with art styles now. And I don't like it. Like it looks cute, but like I miss animation when it was really detailed and they tried to make it look good. But yeah, I don't know. This isn't for us. It's for little kids. But yeah, I was wondering, well, first of all, what's your opinion on this trailer?
I mean, I'm not really that.
Okay.
I have about as much depth on Scooby Doo as I do on Sonic. Probably a bit more on Scooby Doo actually. I've only seen the 2 movies, well, Monsters Unleashed as well, and the first
Whoa,
one.
did you never watch the cartoon as a kid?
No, I didn't. I know.
Everybody, wow.
I know.
Well, let's get into this. Let's get into this. This is the topic.
We're not getting into this.
What is your experience with Scooby Doo? So it's just the 2 movies and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
You never grew up. You didn't really. Wow.
No.
I thought it was okay.
No.
Okay.
No. That's it. So
for me as a kid, it was on cable. It was Scooby Doo and Addams Family. And oh boy, this Addams Family movie looks even worse than this. But we'll get into that in a few weeks or something.
It's already out, but I'm not watching it.
Oh, is it? Oh, fuck. Okay.
This, I mean, yeah, I have no thoughts on this really, other than it sounds like the voice of Scooby Doo is fucking Nick Nolte again. I keep bringing up Nick Nolte, like he's got that really like gruff kind of like voice, like, you know, it's like him from Tropic Thunder. You sent them out into the Vietnam jungle, and you put all the charges and detonators you've got. And I'm like, God damn, Scoob, what happened to you? But no, he's actually voiced by Frank Welker, who voiced Megatron back in the cartoons. This cast, dude, massive, right? Mark Wahlberg, Amanda Seyfried, Gina Rodriguez from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Tracy Morgan, Ken Jeong, Jason Isaacs from Harry Potter, Will Forte, and Zac Efron. What the fuck?
Massive, man.
Massive.
Like, so I don't know if, because you clearly didn't grow up with it, but like Scooby-Doo is a massive franchise. It is, and right now it seems to be the way they're treating it is they're just going the nostalgia train the same way that like Sesame Street did. Like Scooby-Doo, I swear to God, every 6 months release a new animated show, a new animated like direct like movie that features something. Like they've done like 3 movies with Batman, I'm pretty sure. And they
did a crossover with Supernatural.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think that's actually pretty recent. They did, what was it? I think they did one with like an actual real horror movie. I think it was like Jason or Freddy or something. It was weird. I never saw it though. But yeah, like people love it. It's like for a lot of those actors, it would have been like, hey, do you want to be in Star Wars? Like maybe not to that extent, but it's kind of a big deal to a lot of people. But I don't think a lot of those people are going to watch this unless they go with their kids, which I think is why you make a movie like this, right? It's so you can bring the parents to bring their kids along with it. And it's like good for them, but that's not us.
Yeah, it's not us. I mean, I don't plan to have children anytime soon. So, all right, man.
Wait, on a different note, man, I just want to bring something up because I've been looking for the name for this for a while. You were talking about psychological horrors before. I want to really recommend a film that I saw in Melbourne at Monster Fest. It's called 1BR. It is one of the best psychological horror films I've seen in a while. I don't know why I didn't review it on this podcast, but it's about, you know, you can get some gated communities that you can move into, like for apartments. It's kind of, imagine if that was secretly owned by a cult and you become trapped in there and you can never leave. And it fucks with you heavy, man. It was a really good film.
That sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah, 1BR. I think I don't think it's an indie film.
Sitting at 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, looks good.
Really, really recommend it.
I'll read out the premise. After leaving behind a painful past to follow her dreams, Sarah scores the perfect Hollywood apartment. But something is not right. Unable to sleep, tormented by strange noises and threatening notes, her new life quickly starts to unravel. By the time she learns the horrifying truth, it's too late. Caught in a waking nightmare, Sarah must find the strength to hold on to her crumbling sanity or be trapped forever in an existential hell. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So at that festival, I also that's where I had Ready or Not.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that one stuck with me after I watched it, and it's been a long, long time where a horror movie stuck with me for creepy reasons. Like Get Out and Us stuck with me because they were cool, but like this one still creeped me out, thinking, "Oh, this might be possible," in a really weird, fucked up way.
Nice. All right, now let's talk about our final trailer. This was a late edition. It's called The Way Back. It stars Ben Affleck. The premise is basically a guy who wants to get his life back on track. He was a drunk, and he ends up coaching basketball. Not dissimilar to Coach Carter. I thought it was pretty interesting though. I mean, like the movie itself looks interesting. The trailer looks great. It's it's kind of like art imitating life, because like after Justice League, you got like Ben Affleck fell into, well, he relapsed. He used to be an alcoholic. He went to rehab and everything, and then he relapsed. So it's kind of interesting that he's now playing a role where he's, you know, his character is required to drink pretty heavily. I just thought that was a really, really interesting note. This movie is directed by a guy named Gavin O'Connor, who directed the amazing Warrior. That movie's fantastic, dude. That's Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton. And then much more recently with Anna Kendrick and Ben Affleck again, The Accountant. Also pretty good. So yeah, this is, I'm up there. I'm 100% down for this movie. What do you think?
I'm pretty indifferent. These type of stories don't really connect with me, but it does remind me of Disney Plus literally has a section called uplifting sport movies, which is, which I never realized.
That's a genre.
Like, it is a genre, right? It's a very, like, a sub-genre that I didn't realize existed, but the second I saw them, like, oh, fuck yeah, there's like Remember the Titans, like, there are a million movies like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, this fits in that. It feels like it's one of those genres, like, really? That exists? Like, okay, let's do that. And those never really spoke to me. I'm just wondering, Zohab, to your knowledge, because I don't know much about this film, but does this movie have any backlash that you're aware of?
No, nothing. Zero.
Because I feel like in this climate, this could be a film that the BuzzFeeds of the world could get mad at, because it seems to fall in this trope that around Oscar season we always talk about, of the whole white savior complex. It's some big, tall white man comes in to save, quote unquote, save or change the lives of a bunch of black people. I know Green Book copped a lot of, I think most of them are. I don't think all of them are. I think one of them looked like it could be Mexican or something. I'm not sure. But the majority of them look African American. And it is basketball, let's be real. But like, I just feel like these days, movies like this get a lot of shit. Like, Green Book copped a lot of flack around the Oscar season.
Still won Best Picture.
Time for it. It did. But like, I feel like also these are the type of movies that win Oscars. It's the ones that are like, oh, look how tough these minorities have, but we're seeing it through the perspective of somebody white. And I don't want to get the racially political politics here, but like, it's funny how common that is. And I just thought this would be a thing people get mad about. Personally, I don't relate to it, so I can't get angry at it. Well,
this comes out,
I can understand
it. This comes out after the Oscars. This comes out in March 2020. And Gavin O'Connor, I mean, I can't, unless he really, really knocks this out of the park, I don't think this is going to be nominated for anything. It's just going to be a pretty solid movie. So
I think if the studio had faith in it for an Oscar, they would have released it before it. Because when's it come out? Isn't it March or something like that?
Yeah, didn't I just say March?
I thought I said after Oscars, I think. Oh, rewind that, guys. Listeners, if you did say March, please post in the after party that what's the code word? What were you gonna say?
Drunk, like a drunk.
Just say the word drunk.
Yeah. With a gut.
Just say drunk and we'll know what you mean. Yeah. I don't know, like, this movie looks like it's not as bad, but it also got me thinking, it's like, Ben Affleck seems to be in a lot of movies these days. Like, is he just randomly is he turning into like a Nick Cage guy who just does every movie he can? Like, I feel like he was never this active, but maybe he's just trying to like redeem himself after Justice League and Batman v Superman.
I mean, he's working, right? Like, he was in, last thing I think he was in was Triple Frontier, which is Netflix's one.
Yeah, I just saw that recently, and slight spoilers, but something I found really fucking ballsy in that movie is killing him off like halfway through.
Oh, wow.
I did not see that coming. Like, that was like, and they showed everything. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, they geared him up like to be the main character, and I thought that was like ballsy filmmaking. I actually really thought that was cool.
Oh, it's cool. I don't want to see it anyway. It's fine. I'm kidding.
I thought you said you saw it. You saw it.
No,
sorry, my bad.
No, it's fine. I actually really didn't want to see it, but it's fine.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's okay.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, man. Sorry. Once again, you can tell when we don't like really care too much about film, because then we go off topic pretty easily.
We just fucking derail, and it's like, 11 o'clock at night, and we have work tomorrow, but we still haven't even done our fucking reviews. God damn it.
But
right.
this episode's so fun, Zoheb. This one's a fun episode.
Yeah, this is a good episode. I like this one. I like this one.
Me too.
Okay. All right, guys. We got 3 reviews for you guys. We got Ford v Ferrari, Dolemite is my name, and Charlie's Angels. It's just, yeah. You tell which one I'm excited for.
So you've got 2 to talk about on your solo and 1 for me. How about we throw Dolemite as your name in the middle, and I'm probably going to have more to say about Charlie's Angels than Ford v Ferrari, just because of brand recognition. So do you want to leave Charlie's Angels to last?
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, guys, let us dive right the fuck in. We're going to talk Ford v Ferrari.
Go to war.
Thank you, sir.
Do you think you can beat Ferrari?
I can try.
We're lighter, we're faster. When that don't work, we're nastier. We're gonna make history.
Ford v Ferrari. This looked great. I'm probably going to see it next week or sometime soon. It looks awesome, but that doesn't mean you guys should have to wait to hear the review. Zoheb, is it as cool as it looks?
It's fucking solid.
Fuck yeah.
Really, really dug this movie, man. And I think I went in with it like with a positive, like with a pretty high bar. Directed by James Mangold, whose last movie was fucking Logan, right? I mean, like, how do you come off that shit? With a great fucking cast, like headlined by Matt Damon and Christian Bale. These two, especially Christian Bale, firing on, forgive the pun, all cylinders. Man, Christian Bale is just, he continues to prove that he's one of the greatest living actors of all time. Like, he just knows how to throw himself into a role. And it's funny, actually, because, like, he recently just said that he's, like, not going to lose any weight anymore for roles. Because, like, his last role before this was Dick Cheney in Vice. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a fantastic film. It's about the 1966 24-hour of Le Mans, and it's about the rivalry between Ford and Henry Ford II and Ferrari and Enzo Ferrari. It's pretty fucking awesome and riveting, man. Like, this is a really beautifully shot film. This, like, seriously, like, when they're out on the track, it looks absolutely stunning. You kind of like do double takes on, like, how the fuck did they pull off that shot? How the fuck did they pull off that shot? Like, it's just so really, really well done. Man, I really don't know what else to say about it. It's gripping. It's got a great story. It's a hair too long. It's at 2.5 hours, and I think maybe that is just a little too long in terms of the pacing sort of department. John Bernthal's in this. He plays Lee Iacocca. He's fucking great in it too, man. Yeah, this is a really outstanding movie, and you guys should absolutely fucking check it out for sure. Great production value, great script, great acting. I don't think it'll be nominated for anything, though. I think this might, it's a pretty strong year for films. Really, really strong year for acting categories, really strong year for best picture categories and cinematography as well. I think it might just fall by the wayside, but that still shouldn't put anyone off from watching this movie. And definitely go see it on the biggest screen you can with the best sound system you can, because this thing sounds awesome. Yeah, that's my take on it, dude. Ford v Ferrari. Check it out. That's probably about a 9 out of 10.
Can't wait to watch it. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, man. Let's talk Eddie Murphy's return to Netflix, or, well, rather, premiere to Netflix. Dolemite is my name.
Hey, that's Durban Martin.
I'm offering you a role in my new motion picture.
You think you could just walk up here and hire me? No.
What if we let you
Dolemite
direct?
is my name, and fucking up motherfuckers is my game. I think I got that right. I hope I did.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah. Do you want to start on this, or should I?
I just yapped my fucking lips for about 4 minutes straight without... Oh, I took breaths, but still. You go, dude. Hit me. What are your thoughts on Dolemite is my name? You watched this based off a recommendation off me, right?
Yeah. However, I did see an interview he did on some talk show, and appealed to me.
Cool.
But like the way
Nice.
that he spoke about, I thought it was going to be like about making some kung fu stuff. And then you said to me, dude, it's like Disaster Artist. And I halfway through watching it, I messaged you. I'm like, yeah, man, it's Black Disaster Artist. This is awesome. Dude, the cast is insane. Like just outside Eddie Murphy, like it's like every time you see an actor come on screen, it's like, oh, I know him. Like that's fucking cool. Great cast. Eddie Murphy. I know Eddie Murphy is very Eddie Murphy, but there are moments where he disappears into his role, which I think is really hard for an actor for him, like his stature to do. But overall, I love this movie, dude. I had a really good time. It's not perfect. It's not going to be the best film of the year, but it's a really fun film in the vein of something like Disaster Artist or even Bohemian Rhapsody, where it keeps moving and it keeps being fun. And you know what's cool with these type of autobiographical movies? I'm really getting into them is they're fun. They keep the pace going and the story's always kind of the same. It's kind of like, oh, we're going to do this, but you can't do this. Let's do it anyways. And that's literally every scene until one scene where it's sad for a minute and then he overcomes some obstacle and then it's the end and everybody loves the person. That's all three of those films and probably more, but I'm loving it. Like this, it's a very fun film. I found it kind of odd at first because it's going more into his musical side. With his comedic stuff. And as a comedian, I do not find him funny. Like that is a huge generational gap. I just want to
correct that. Well,
Dolemite.
You're
stand-up,
not the comedian, right?
Yeah. So the movie is funny. Eddie Murphy is funny, but the character of Dolemite, his material, I found unfunny. But this is like 30 probably more years old material. Like, so the comedy is very generational, I feel.
Yeah.
Like if you watch.
And also cultural. Right?
Yeah, and cultural.
Like, look at his audience too.
But like a lot of 80s comedies aren't funny to me now. And I'm sure a lot of the comedies I love now won't be funny to people in 10 years time, you know? So comedy like really evolves and changes throughout the years. I think that's why as a genre, it's able to stay around so long because different type of things are funny and at different times, I think. But the movie itself is funny. It's really good. I love the cast. I like the soundtrack. I love the production design. I like the story and script. It's very predictable. We've seen these autobiographical movies that they have it's weird. It's based on real life, but follows a template, a formula, a structure that we've seen a million times, but I still enjoy it. But it's like this, I like this film for some reason, like Disaster Artist, that it's like, it reminds you why movies are fun and why you like movies, or at least I love the behind the scenes element of films and making movies. Reminds me why I like that. I love the fact that there are like moments where like he'll see some famous guy in a strip club and he'll be like, oh, we want you in the film, and goes, no way, I will never do it. It's just like, what if we let you direct? And then like next scene, he's like directing or whatever. Like I love that shit, man. Like there's not really much else to say other than I had a good time. It's not flawless. And admittedly, I watched this in chunks, a lot of it while at work in between doing stuff, which I will. Optimal. Yeah, and he just said that live on a public podcast. Look at me, I'm going to lose my job. A lot of time on the train on the way to work, so don't get too mad at me. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I don't really know what else to say, but I'm sure it'll come to me. How about you, man? How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, man, I really, really dug this movie. It's good to see Eddie Murphy back in his element, if that makes sense. So like it's been a while since I've seen a movie that he absolutely looked like he was enjoy playing. He was a role that he was enjoying playing. And I think I totally get that vibe from Dolemite. I'd never heard of Rudy Ray Moore in my life before this movie, ever.
Same. So imagine my surprise when at the end it's like he's battle rapping, but I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And it goes, they call him the Godfather of rap. I'm like, oh 100%. Shit, this is where it all came from.
Imagine my surprise when afterward I do some research and Snoop Dogg says, quote, without Rudy Ray Moore, there would be no Snoop Dogg, and that's for real.
That's crazy because it pretty much opens with him acting with Snoop Dogg. That's cool.
100%. Yeah, he's in the movie. Like you said, dude, great cast. Fucking Bob Odenkirk, T.I.'s in this, Chris Rock's in this, Wesley Snipes, Craig Robinson, Keegan-Michael Key. It's a ridiculous cast. And this is the thing as well. And like, let's not go down too far of a rabbit hole here. Netflix is still creating original content that are keeping them in the game. Disney have not fucking like destroyed them yet. Maybe that'll change in the future, but you know, you've got The Irishman coming in about a week, and this like Netflix are constantly, you know, they're popping out more and more original exclusives that are top notch, dude. And this is 100% up there. This was such a fun blast to watch, man. It was just so awesome to watch like this sex scene and this ridiculous fucking roof falling on them, and it's just a good time. Like, it was just a good time to watch. Great acting, like really sort of like hearty human moments as well. Kind of get hit in the feels, and when the laughs come, they fucking come huge, dude. Like, it's great, and like by the end of it, you fall in love with this Rudy Ray Moore character, and you know, Eddie Murphy just sells the fuck out of it, dude. And I am 100%. I do not, because I watched this on a bit of a whim. I was like, okay, let's chuck this on, see how it is. I didn't read any reviews or anything. Did not know that it's currently sitting at 97% Rotten Tomatoes, which is interesting. I just chucked it on a whim, and I was like, all right, let's check this out. And man, I watched it from start to finish, just one Sunday afternoon, and I was like, that was great. I immediately want to go back and watch it again. Really had a great time with this. I'll definitely be checking this out again. Probably give it a 9 out of 10, man. What do you reckon?
It's very easy to watch. Very enjoyable. I might join you on that. I think like it's the thing. I know, just out of enjoyment alone, 9 out of 10. Like, I think if I was trying to be a real snotty snob about it, I'd probably take it down a peg. But like, I don't know what for. I think it's really good. Oh, and Straight Outta Compton, another film that follows this format. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's really great. I think if it was a weaker year for films, this would be a strong Oscar contender. It still might have a chance, but it might be too soon to say. But there's a lot of good shit going on in this movie. It's at the very least a fun time. And again, like if you just go on IMDb and look at the cast, it is incredible. Like, out of nowhere, I remember this one scene, and like, the filmmakers knew what the fuck they were doing. It starts on, I think it's on Rudy J. Moore on a microphone or something. You just hear a voice.
Rudy Ray Moore.
Sorry, yeah. And then you just hear this voice, I'm like, is Chris Rock in this fucking movie? And it like pans over and it's like, holy shit, Chris Rock is in this fucking movie. Like, they it's hit after hit after hit. I think it's just like a lot of people wanted to be there for Eddie Murphy's return. I think he's a big deal to the culture, like him. And it's a great year for like, I think, black comedy, because Dave Chappelle also did his big comeback. I think it was this year, right? It was last year. I think it was this year.
Stones?
With Netflix year. And now Eddie Murphy too. Like, wow. Yeah. Fuck yeah. 9 out of 10. I love it.
For sure. Just a quick note before we move on. This director, Craig Brewer, is reuniting with Eddie Murphy next year to deliver Coming to America 2, which is cool. All right, man. That does it for Dolemite Is My Name. Got a solid 18 out of 20, right? Or 9 out of 10. Let's get into fucking... I know. Who scores it like that? 18 out of 20.
I can do some math there. Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie's Angels. All right, here we fucking go.
How'd that feel? Because it looked like it felt really good.
That felt nice.
Here we go! We in it together, but don't call me angel.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
Charlie's Angels. So this, to me, going into it, I think I said this in the after party, it looks like this has rush me out and make me as quickly as possible so you can save the rights to this franchise vibe. But what I'm hearing also is, and we should also acknowledge, it's a major box office bomb. It did poorly on its opening weekend. I feel the marketing materials were very weak. It had very bad trailers. But I was still curious about this movie, to be honest. And I'm hearing it's not as bad as what you might think. Would you agree with that or nah?
I'd agree with that. I'd definitely say it's not as bad as what you'd think, but I also would say that it's not a good movie. Like, I'm just going to put that out there. And look, I'm not going to rip into this movie. I think I also don't, and I hate to be a contrarian. I don't fully agree with you that this is a movie that was rushed out to, I guess, retain the rights.
I have no idea. I'm just guessing. But
yeah. I think, if anything, this movie was, if it was rushed out, because we don't know about that, if it was rushed out, it was rushed out to resonate with the times, if anything. This movie is very, very much about sisterhood. And so is the first two, but in a less sort of like preachy way. This isn't full of preachiness. It's definitely there. But I mean, like, look, and it's not to say that, you know, Charlie's Angels is being woke, because it's always been about sisterhood, right? Except now it's a bit more relevant, considering that we're in a post-Me Too world and all that stuff. So that stuff really didn't really bother me. There was one or two times where it felt like it was a bit shoehorned in. Elizabeth Banks is a very big feminist. So, like, obviously that stuff's going to be in there. I was kind of expecting that. By the way, she wrote, directed, and starred in this movie. That is something that needs to be applauded, whether this is a bad movie or not. That is something that's a massive achievement. Like, good on you, man. Like, seriously, that takes a lot of work. There was times in this movie where I found myself having some fun, man. Like, you know, I was just like, oh, okay, that's kind of clever. That's kind of clever. Super predictable, right? Do you care about spoilers, Matt? Are you
nah, like, I feel like a movie like this, you could see the spoiler. Like, this movie reveals in the trailer reveals Charlie's face straight away. So I don't think this movie cares about spoilers either.
Wait, who's that? Because you don't see Charlie in the movie.
Isn't it Patrick Stewart?
No, he's playing Bosley. So there's a thing here.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a thing here where, again, it's world building. Like, it builds the world pretty well. By the way, guys, we're about to get into spoilers pretty heavily, if you care about this movie, that is. There are multiple Bosleys because there are multiple agencies around the world.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Elizabeth Banks is a Bosley. Bosley is a surname, so they each have like and they say that it's a rank. So you have to reach a rank of Bosley. Patrick Stewart is a Bosley. He retires early on in the movie, which immediately led me to believe that, oh, okay, cool. So he's the bad guy of the movie, which is exactly what he is. He is the villain of the movie. And by the way, when that happens, that twist, inverted commas twist, he is having the greatest time of his life. He's having so much fun at playing the villain of this movie, and that immediately bumps it up a fucking grade for me, because like whenever you watch an actor who's playing against their sort of type and like really gets into the movie and like knows what movie they're in, I really, really enjoy that. So yeah, for sure.
I've never seen Patrick Stewart play a villain, and something you always hear actors say, some of their favorite roles to play are always villains, because with villain roles you can like really let it loose. So hearing that automatically makes you want to see the movie a little bit more, actually.
For sure. Let's talk about the Charlie's Angels themselves. So Ella Balinska, she's great. Not great. She's okay. She's probably the least interesting out of the three. Kristen Stewart is in here. Again, she's okay. She has some really weird jokes. So she's kind of like the Dylan of the group. So like the Drew Barrymore character. She's okay. She's fine. Like, she's nothing special. Like, she has a couple of moments. She's definitely... Oh, she's a lesbian in the movie, by the way, because she's a lesbian in real life.
Do they have the same...
Just check that in.
Sorry, do they have the same names as the characters from the first...
No,
they're
totally different names.
Different characters. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, they also acknowledge the old Angels, so you see photos of, you know, Lucy Liu and fucking Cameron Diaz, Barrymore. Like that's all in there and all that.
I thought you were going to lead up to a cameo. I thought you were going to say that they cameo at the end or something.
I thought they would. I was a little disappointed by that, but yeah. The lead. Oh, there are cameos actually at the end, but not of who you'd expect. It's kind of random, actually. It's more like, oh, Elizabeth Banks knows this celebrity, so let's get him in here.
Right,
kind of like that. The lead is played by Naomi Scott, who I think is one of the fucking most beautiful women in the world. She played Jasmine in Aladdin. She's great. She's actually the best part of the movie, in my opinion, other than Patrick Stewart. She seems very genuine. She's kind of charismatic, and yeah, she's very fun to watch. The action scenes are okay. Like, this is an action comedy franchise. The action scenes are okay. Like, they're you can make out what's going on, but they're just so fucking over edited. It definitely 100% feels like a Sony movie. Same way as Ghostbusters was like very sort of like overproduced and shiny and glossy, and there was like no sort of like dirt or grime to it. It's all very super clean, and yeah, I don't know. Again,
that's very Sony. Yeah,
100%. It's not. I mean, I'm forgetting parts of it already. Like, and that's not a good thing. I mean, it's just it seems it's very predictable, and it's very forgettable, and it's probably not going to get a sequel, judging from the box office. But is it worth a watch? I'd say not in cinemas. Maybe wait for it to come to Netflix. Because it's there is a couple of things here. Nothing amazing, but nothing worth a movie ticket for as well. It gets a pass, but probably barely. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10, which is higher than what I was expecting it to give it based on the trailers alone. So, yeah, that's Charlie's Angels, baby.
I feel like that's a lot coming from you, because I think it's very hard for you to give an average review, like an average score. I feel like you're very passionate. You often, if you love a movie, you go real high. Or if you hate it, if you dislike a movie, you jump to hate, I think, more easier than me. So I don't think it's very rare, I think, for you to give a 6. So
see, here's the thing. Like,
props on you for that.
Thanks. I give into my emotions, right? Like, if I'm really emotionally positive about something, I'll give it a fucking 10 or a 9 or an 8. But if I'm emotionally fucking aggressive towards something, it'll be like immediately like a 1 or a 2. I rarely give anything a 1. Like, usually it's like a 2 or 3. And even then, well, sometimes I usually go 4. Like, if it's a pass for me, it's under the 5. But yeah, I rarely give a 5. So, yeah, man.
Like, to be fair, I think a lot of people would relate with what you said. Yeah. So I think you're definitely not alone, bro. Yeah. So I think this movie, like, might watch it if I see it on Netflix or something. I would, if someone said, "Do you want to go see it with me?" and if I was free, I would say yes, just because I'm curious about a film like this, to be honest. Like, but I go in knowing it's not good. Like, the thing I just want to drive home is how bad I think the trailer was. Like, I remember still if it wasn't for the poster, which I see in some like cinemas every now and then, like, I was really confused with who the Charlie's Angels were, because it looks like there's like a plot point or something where there's like a girl they've got to protect, and she had a lot of lines in the trailers, and so for a moment I thought, is there 4 Charlie's Angels now? Like, it's very confusing, I felt.
No. So there are 3. There's definitely 3. Like, Elizabeth Banks is not a Charlie's Angel. She's not an angel at all. Right. It's just the 3 girls that you see in the trailer. That wasn't a problem for me, but maybe it's because I knew who was cast as the angels, because I was curious. But
and I'm just talking the trailer, so yeah.
No, that's cool. So the story for this movie, I was talking about with my friend that I saw it with, and she's like, "This movie should have been a training film, like, because the last 10 minutes are the best minutes of the movie, because it's over the credits. It's this new girl. So the story is the 2 experienced angels take this new girl under the wing, and through this like plot line becomes the 3rd angel. But the story should have been like a training school or something like that. Like, it should have been this girl in Charlie's Angels school, like, learning how to become an angel, like someone like Kingsman. Like that first Kingsman,
like an origin film, kind of. Like, yeah,
like that would have worked a lot better, because that last 10 minutes and like it's like a montage of it was actually pretty fucking great. So yeah,
no, that's interesting, man. Yeah, like, look, we're clearly not going to get a sequel anytime soon unless they do it. I think the only other point I kind of want to bring up, just because it's relevant, and you sort of touched on it before. This is not for this film. I think it's in general. I think this film, haters will compare it to Ghostbusters, even though it's not like a female reboot of another franchise. It's just something I am getting a little, I don't know how I feel about it, but the whole feminism angle in films these days, like, on one hand, I understand how people can feel like it's forced down throats and don't like it. But what I also feel like the only people who complain about that shit is dudes. And it's like, bro, the movie's not made for you. It's meant
I'm
for
not gonna go
like
down
those
this
movies are usually for like little girls. It's meant to inspire them and all that shit. And yes, it's jumping on a trend. And no, we probably won't see this in 5 to 10 years time. And probably in 20 years, you'll be able to spot a 2010s movie by the themes, I'm guessing.
I mean, like, it doesn't apply to this movie. It doesn't apply. I mean, like, this is Charlie's Angels. It's a female-led fucking franchise since the 70s. And another franchise that did it recently as well that got criticism for it was Terminator. But it's like, hey, fucking first one and the second one was led by a female. Like, you know, created one of the greatest female fucking heroines of all time. So it's
That's
like,
a good point, man. That's a good point. I do get frustrated myself. Like, I understand the hate Ghostbusters got because it felt like it was almost intentionally.
I get that one.
Like that one, I think gets a bit of a pass because you took a predominantly all male cast, you changed it without justifying it, and then you also killed Bill Murray, which is, I don't know why people didn't get more mad about that. I thought that was the worst thing the film did, besides being a bad film. But sometimes you see, I think, I don't know, I wish this generation of the internet, especially dudes who are so anti-agendas and stuff, would kind of grow up and see a bigger picture, because no one gets mad at kids' films for trying to appeal to kids. So, yeah, I don't know, man. That's where I'm at with that conversation right now.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Fair enough. You want to plug socials and get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, so follow us or eat your own dick. We are
nice. There's always a bigger dick.
Yeah, that's we gotta get that printed on the shirt, bro.
Oh, we do. I'm not going to say freshly squeezed anymore. I'm just going to say there's always a bigger dick. Next time on the fucking podcast, like, I'm going to come back from break and like I'm going to be like, there's always a bigger dick. Thank you for joining us. And Colin's going to be like, what? Like, what the fuck?
It's our new catchphrase. It beats what was it? Freshly squeezed. Facebook Midnight Double Feature. Find our community on our Facebook group, the After Party Midnight Double Feature. We can talk to us and be our BFFs. We talk, we post memes, we post news articles. If you want to get a vibe what the next upcoming Attractions episode is going to be, we're probably talking about it in there already. You can also find us on all the other socials. No matter where you look, we are there, especially Instagram. Please give us a follow. Please give us a like. And if you're on iTunes, make sure you give us a 5-star review. If you don't give us a 5-star review, like, there's no way to put it. Like, you're racist. Okay, you're racist against Australians. You're probably going to grow up to be a wife beater, and I don't want you to be like that, man. I don't want you like that. I don't want all your friends and family to hate you for the rest of your life. So you need to give us 5 stars, or that is a possibility it'll happen. There's a multiverse out there. There's a universe where that happens. I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Like, he lives in the South, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, he's gonna hate me.
As you can tell, it's late, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So
it's fucking late, dude. I gotta get to bed.
I'm just gonna say thank you very much for hanging out with this upcoming Attractions episode. And if you'd like to hear more from us and you've got anything you'd like us to talk about, let us know on the After Party on Facebook. As I'm Matt, that's Zoheb. Laters. There's always a bigger dick.